What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Masks Off podcast, the only podcast on the internet featuring, well, today, 7 dudes talking about the struggles of being video game and anime and whatever kind of fans of things that we are during what seems to be the end of the world.
What a fun time.
Good times.
Everyone, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
All right. Hi, I'm Radaman or Alex. I was here last time, and I am very excited that we actually get to talk about NieR today.
Hello, I am Arlo. I was also here last time, and I just spent the last 48 hours doing almost nothing but playing Doom Eternal.
Hello, I'm Dallin. I was also here last time, and I spent the last couple weeks just staring at the wall crying.
Jesus.
Okay. Hi, I'm Edgy Burb or Marshall. I've just been vibing, playing League, watching anime, getting called a weeb by chapter librarian. But yeah.
Loser. God, I'm crying while I'm being called one. Alright.
Well, I'm Kaleb, but y'all can all call me Pleasant, and I've been playing Persona 5 Royal, which is kind of the only thing I've wanted to play all year.
Definitely not jealous. Alright, and there's me. Hi, I'm Zura, or Camden, whichever works. I'm a huge Love Live fan. I was here, and I'm the guy who directed this whole entire thing. Kind of a mistake in the very end, but you know what? It's working out. But yeah, no. A Love Live fan, still waiting to play Persona 5 Royal, because I'm broke. Anyway, so for our guest today, we have Leo, or Elevated Midday. Please introduce yourself.
All right. So like Cam said, I'm Elevated Midday, or Leo, and I have done nothing but play Persona 5 Royal since it came out. I have not eaten or slept in 4 days. I think I'm going crazy, but it's worth it.
Bro, I'm so jealous. What the fuck?
Jesus, dude.
You're jealous of that? That's what you're jealous of?
Oh yeah, dude. I want to starve myself. Who doesn't want to?
I mean, honestly,
What's a spoiler?
Dude, I ran out of toilet paper 2 days ago. Please, I'm begging. Somebody throw it at my house.
I guess, just to kind of, not want to say conclude last week's episode, but, I know this isn't in the plan, but how was Persona 5 Royal for the guys who've played it?
I mean, I think I'm the only person here who's played it, so I'm not going to talk, super...
I'm here.
Oh, you've been... Okay, I didn't know you'd been playing it.
Didn't you listen to anything I just said?
No, I was blocking you out.
His profile picture is literally Joker.
Well, okay, then I'll very briefly give mine, and I'll let Leah talk about it. But the crazy thing to me is that, it's Persona 5 again, but it feels so fresh because of just the small little details, things from just when you're walking to school now, sometimes Haru or Makoto will be in the background, and things that were text messages are now phone calls, and it's just in the introduction.
So wait. You're telling me that I can get in Haru's DMs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have definitely kind of done what they actually did with P5A, where they introduced the characters earlier than the game did. You see you see Haru and Makoto and Akechi earlier than you did in Persona 5. And even just small things like the new grappling hook puzzles, the will seeds, all of these small mechanics, they kind of come together to make what is essentially the same experience fresh again. And it's already, Persona 5 was my favorite game of last year, and arguably my favorite game of all time, so getting to play it again but with slightly new things is kind of all I've ever wanted. What about you, Leo?
Okay, Leo?
All right. So, man, I've been waiting to talk about this one. So Persona 5 is my favorite game of all time, no questions asked. It beats out everything else by a very large margin. And I'd probably go back and play the original game again, so getting an excuse to play the game again would have been enough for me, even on its own. But when you take Persona 5 Royal, which I agree with absolutely everything you said, it really is just the little touches that make it so much better. Well, okay, if you didn't like Persona 5, you're not going to like Persona 5 Royal, because it is, a remake of the same game. But if you did like Persona 5, you're going to really like Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah, because I think Royal. I mean, it cleans up the small mistakes. Like, it didn't occur to me until later, but they relocalized the script, so like, it's especially noticeable during Kamoshida's Palace. Morgana makes so much more sense in what he's saying.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And I mean, just it's just like they took everything that I think people who played the game loved and just said a little bit more. And
absolutely.
And I don't even know if I don't know if they changed it, because like I had been replaying Persona 3, but I guess or Persona 5 rather. I might have just been numb to it. It seems like even like the little bits of political commentary are a little bit like smarter.
I've noticed some differences there.
Like Tora, the Sun Confidant, he seems way smarter this time, and even like.
Oh yeah, on my first playthrough I didn't really do him that much, and he's not one of my favorite characters, so I can't really speak to it. But I can say I did notice that he seems like I guess just more likable person due to him being smart.
Yeah, I just like, I can't think of anything so far that I've disliked. I think the only thing that took me by surprise was Takemi's new voice, but even that, like,
wait, she has a new voice.
She has a new voice actress. Like, I don't know if this has been confirmed. The only thing that I've seen online, like, explanation is that the actress from the first game kind of just disappeared.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah,
I am really disappointed because she was
Go on, buddy. Go on.
Dude. If I didn't date Haru, dude, I would be on Takumi's like so hard.
But you didn't date Haru your first playthrough.
Whoa, wait a second, okay? I made my mistakes in my first run.
Yeah.
Are those
I was there.
sirens I hear? Yo, what the?
You should have seen his reaction.
Dude, I thought that the Harara only happened for like for all the characters, and then all of a sudden on Hifumi come up and beat me up, and I'm like
he was super relieved, right, when he just got the normal Valentine's Day scene, and then like the scary music started playing, and he like jumped off the couch.
Oh my god!
I was in a whole other world.
God.
Alrighty, moving away from Persona for a bit. Let's talk about Doom Eternal. We have two really, really huge fans here, Arlo and Dallin, who are basically going to lead us through this whole entire review. So if there's like any spoilers, I guess minor spoilers. Just if you're like, I don't know, what is Doom? What are you going to spoil for Doom though? Like that's kind of like important, I guess.
I was about to say,
dude, it's just giant shoot 'em up.
Yeah, you just shoot things.
It really is. There's not like a ton of story. There is like the basic backbone of the game story, but there isn't like a deep, in-depth lore behind you shoot the demons because the demons are bad.
Well, I mean, yeah, I usually compare it to like a Call of Duty story, where it's not really the story that people will play the story for. It's more the like gameplay moments within the story.
You know, you say that, but Commander Shepard is an infamous name because of Call of Duty.
All of the modern
That's a
Warfare
very
games,
bad representation of.
Yeah, that's
World at War, Black Ops 1.
Let me say the recent Call of Duty.
Yeah, no, I get what you're
yeah,
saying.
that
Yeah.
one works.
like, I think I hear like Devil May Cry stories, like.
But I thought, I mean, I liked it was like, you're right, it wasn't like super important, but I really liked the story for Doom 2016. Like I thought.
You're wrong, and here's why. I'm joking.
Okay, I loved Doom 2016. I like Doom Eternal a little bit more, but I know that I have a rivaling opinion from Dallin because Dallin believes that it was mediocre, and I had a phenomenal time playing.
I'm gonna say this now, right? Dallin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so mad at you because you are blowing so much smoke up the developer's ass for this whole entire thing over Doom Eternal. I swear, dude. You're like, oh my god, Doom Eternal's so hype, and then all of a sudden you're saying it's mediocre. I want an explanation why.
Doom Slayer in Smash.
No longer Doom Slayer.
I still want Doom Slayer and Smash, but like,
no, he wants
like,
Hatsume Miku.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Hatsume Miku for Smash. That's Dallin's option.
Yes.
Hold on. Let him get his point out.
Yeah,
Why do you
Dallin
think
goes
that it's so mediocre?
Okay, so if you go back to Doom 2016, you had 3 different modes: campaign, multiplayer, and snap maps, which was like really good, right? And like snap maps was like a custom level like for everyone, like kind of like a Mario Maker.
Like the Halo level creator sort of thing that you can
And
make
then-
custom maps with.
Yeah, like custom maps like for Mario Maker, full-fledged maps, and it was the sickest thing, right? And then for the loading screens, it was super simple. You could pick campaign, multiplayer, and snap maps, and they were all like small little boxes. My favorite parts of Doom 2016 were the death animations, like when enemies kill you, the Gauss cannon. It was very realistic. It was 13 hours long. They had Ultra Nightmare, which is phenomenal. It was not multiplayer focused. It was a kick-ass soundtrack and rewarding for finding secrets. For Doom Eternal, dude, they kind of just like said, okay, we're gonna have campaign and battle mode. No snap maps. And the battle mode is just the Slayer versus 2 demons, and the demons are Archvile, Mancubus, Marauder, and the Pain Elemental, and the Revenant. And they're all overpowered. The screen for Doom Eternal is very like cramped. Like it's like small boxes that said campaign, battle mode, and then below that are events, customized, and extras. Right off the bat, it looks like it's multiplayer focused. The campaign, you have all the modes from the original Doom 2016, but I just felt like it was missing aspects that made Doom 2016 a fantastic game. Like it just took them all out and then went for like something easy.
Is that less of a like a reduction as more as a focusing element? Because I think things like, I mean, in snap maps something that could definitely be added later, but I like I said, I haven't played the game, so just from like the commercials and the gameplay that I've seen, it seems almost too like grand to make a map maker, whereas like Doom was a lot of like small corridor to slightly more open area to small corridor to open area.
Doom Eternal definitely has much more grandiose and larger scale maps as opposed to Doom 2016. Walk down a hallway, walk into arena, walk down another hallway out of the arena type like map design.
And do you see that as a good thing or a bad thing?
I have always been a very big fan of visual storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can look around like a map and just look at all of the aspects of the environment and start to learn kind of what went on there, I love that in a game, and I think that's why I have such a really good opinion of Doom Eternal, and it's because it does that phenomenally. Like the map and the world just it makes me want to know more about like what happened, just seeing all of these like these giant tattered mech suits just enveloped in these fleshy heaps, and it looks so utterly enthralling in my opinion.
Can I ask you, you're probably a fan of environmental storytelling then, right?
Absolutely. I love environmental. If you don't have to tell me something and you can just show me, I love that.
I was a big fan of Fallout 4 for that very reason.
Yes, sir. Fallout 4,
yeah.
another one of my favorite games.
Honestly, I've been trying to get into Doom Eternal, but I haven't been able to like actually actually play it, I guess. Like again, it costs money, and since we can't really leave our houses without kind of breathing in toxic fumes, I've been trying to watch people play it, and it looks really good to me. But I can see what Dallin means. You definitely want a game that kind of pays tribute to its original version. And plus, the soundtrack for Doom 2016 was so good.
Oh, I mean, it's one of my favorite. I mean, there's not even singing or anything, which is generally something that I have to have for music. But I will listen to the Doom soundtrack any day of the week.
Dude, I listen to it. God, you know what Love Live music is?
Yeah,
I know very
Don't get him
minimal.
started. Don't get him started on this one.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. I'm done. I'm not gonna go into a rant. First time.
Yeah, I get what you're saying a lot about the whole just the kind of the issues that you saw with it, but I loved almost everything else that they. And I mean, it did kind of seem like it was more focused on the multiplayer, but also at the same time, a lot of people. I remember in 2016, I got Doom 2016, and I know a couple of people that I knew that also got the game. They were upset that there wasn't as big a multiplayer.
Yeah, I
because
was
it
gonna
was
say
an
the exact
advertised
same thing.
it was an advertised thing for Doom 2016 that there was going to be this big multiplayer. You're going to be able to go head to head with all of the weapons you can use in the multiplayer and fight other Doom Slayers. And so when that was a big letdown of just you have 4 people in this giant pit and that's it. That's the only thing that there is.
Yeah.
A lot of people just that I knew at least thought that it was underwhelming and kind of a waste.
Yeah, I definitely think it was shallow, and Snap Map, which is one of my favorite features of Doom 2016, took a long time to be good. Like it was garbage at launch. Which I mean, no one expected Doom 2016 to be good. You know, like even though I'm a Doom 3 like defender, like people weren't really like expecting a lot out of Doom 2016, and then it came out and ended up kind of having a huge impact on how people look at shooters, especially, you know, that kind of shooter, because like I think it's called the move forward system or the push forward system was so different than, you know, the cover shooters, which was all you had in 2016, you know, because I want to say it was before Titanfall made it big, and you know, like all of these like non like traditional shooters really started coming out.
Yeah, ones that kind of like open world ones.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk. So I'm speaking as someone who has never played the original Doom, Doom 2016, or Doom Eternal. Most of the shooters I do play are either like team shooters or looter shooters, but I do play one, I guess, quote unquote, like arena type shooter, and that is Titanfall 2. And I love that
Everyone
game.
loves that one.
I love that game, and it's for one big reason. And I wanted to ask you guys how this felt in Doom, and it's the movement, because you know in Titanfall 2 it's like move, you like wall ride off this place, you jump onto the back of a Titan, grapple, swing around, like move all the time, and it's just constant action. How does the movement feel in Doom?
In my personal opinion, I love what they did for the movement mechanics in Doom, because unlike in Doom 2016, you start the game with the ability to double jump, and that is such a nice thing. And they also implemented these things called runes, where you get to you can pick from. There's 12 of them. There's between 9 and 12. I'm blanking right now, but they are all basically just like little like smaller perks. Like you can get a glory kill from farther away, or you get a boost in movement speed after you get a glory kill. But one of them was you get better control in the air, and that was the first thing that I got. And so the movement in Doom is so like crisp and so clean, and it's really good because it actually makes the platforming and the kind of parkour that is like strangely almost feels fitting in Doom Eternal, as opposed to like the platforming that was really jarring in 2016, where it was since it was a very linear game. You're like, what is this parkour doing in my demon killing game?
Do you mind if I add something in real quick?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So as a person who doesn't really play shooters, I'm like more of a story person, or like music games and stuff, like that kind of nerdy stuff. But the 2 games that really drew me in, like as shooter games, were Doom 2016 and Titanfall 2. And I've always been kind of in those, like I've never been like a Call of Duty person, but like games like Doom Eternal just Doom and Titanfall 2 really like changed my view on how shooters can be, because like shooters, in my opinion, are very polarized, because most people believe like, oh, it's just, you know, shoot your enemy in front of you, blah 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 blah. But like Titanfall 2 and Doom, they kind of created like these shooter games with like backstories and like why like they made an interesting concept, in my opinion. So that's why I'm into them. But
yeah, I think it was also both games use a lot of the environment around you, whereas in a lot of first-person shooters, it is basically just find rock, hide behind rock, shoot enemies from behind rock. Where in Titanfall 2, an enemy's cover can turn into your advantage by giving you a place to pin them against once you grapple over. And Doom does sort of the same thing. Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 both did the same thing that Titanfall 2 did, of basically just learning to use the environment to your advantage gives you such this like power trip when you actually start getting good with it.
Oh yeah, once you feel like you know how to move in those games, like, I mean, yeah, you feel like you get it. Like you do. Like, I'm sure pretty much all of y'all, especially like being video game players, are familiar with what's called flow state. Is that, and it's that like you forget kind of what you're doing and you just move forward. And I think the mechanics of like Doom 2016 and Titanfall, like they really do push forward, like because of the push forward mechanics, like you do enter that flow state and you do move and you have a lot of like agency in how you attack, whereas like with something like Call of Duty, it's like, all right, you move from one cover to another and the game knows which covers you're going to attack.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I would put Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal into a different category of a shooter, because it's more of a constant run and gun. If you stop at all in Doom in Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal, you're gonna die. If you're playing on more difficult.
You're telling me that I'm gonna get like, since I have ADD, I'm just gonna like cry.
That actually was something I loved about like Titanfall 2, is that like you have to keep moving or you're just fucked. So and that's the other thing, right? The maps, the like different areas you had to fight in Titanfall 2, they were really good for movement. You could tell the maps were like built around the movement instead of them making the maps first and the movement second. But it wasn't so crazy that it just felt like, oh, why is this random platforming section here? Like, it made sense within the context of the map, but it was still built in a way that it was super fun to move around in.
Oh yeah, I agree with that 100%.
But again, I liked Doom 2016 a little bit more, only because like you don't get the double jump right off away, which was no problem in my opinion for Doom Eternal. It just like it made you think like, oh crap, what can I do since I do not have double jump right now? Like, what way can I not get my flesh eaten off by a zombie and still survive?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but also to flow in that category, in Doom 2016, the first few missions, the arenas were made for you to not have the double jump. In Doom Eternal, everything is assuming that you are fully utilizing the double jump, the monkey bar swing, and the midair dash, and you got to use all of those in tandem, especially in the later arenas, when there's like these super buffed up demons that are just hopping all over the place. And so it really starts to get into the issue of you have to use everything to your advantage or you just start getting swamped.
Yeah, and I would also describe it as a Lord of the Rings type of shooter, only because of the main.
That sounds interesting.
You're gonna need to explain that one, buddy.
People. Okay, so when you start off the game, right? Like after you beat the first level, you get back to this little HUD, and that's where you can upgrade your weapons. You can they're the thing called core keys, so Slayer core keys. I think it's what they're called, and they just power up your facility. And the more cores that you find, the more upgrades you get for your. You have to hold the more upgrades you can get for it, right? But the more upgrades you get, the more useful other guns become, and the less useful other guns are.
And actually, speaking of the guns, one of the main things I really like about games like Titanfall 2 or Destiny or even Overwatch is multiple playstyles. If you get bored of doing something, then there's always something else you can do. Like if I get bored of the fast-paced Titan or pilot combat in Titanfall 2, I can always just go, call my Titan in or play a Titan mode and get some of that combat. So are there like multiple playstyles in Doom, or is it all just the one like keep moving and shooting thing?
Oh yeah, there are multiple playstyles in Doom Eternal. There are certain parts and levels that will like limit your movement. Like there are some parts in like the first level that won't allow you to dash or
Yeah, you're
jump
walking through
at all.
walking through this thick goop. But also on top of that, each weapon has 2 options for the mod that it can use, and that heavily alters the way it's applied.
That's a good idea. I like that.
And I think like if like depending on how you like want to play, different weapons work better because like what at least I'm more so probably in like 2016 than maybe Eternal is the glory kill system. And like if you haven't played Doom, it's basically if you damage an enemy enough, you can melee attack them and get a glory kill, which sends out it's always health, and then I think it's sometimes ammunition, or there's different like qualifiers.
I'm guessing it's ammunition because ammunition is going to be huge.
Chainsaw kills give you ammunition, right?
What?
I think it's chainsaw kills that give you ammunition, and glory kills are health.
Yeah.
So
because
sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it's almost always been just like if you get a glory kill, then they drop like 10 to 15 health, and then when you get low on ammo, you got to use the chainsaw to carve up a.
Yeah, so like if you're like trying to get like glory kills, you may want to use like a lower damage weapon like the pistol or like one of the other weapons. Whereas if you're just trying to get kills, you might want to use like your shotguns or your rocket launchers. So there is kind of like a mathematical like approach to like, okay, how am I going to shoot? Like how many times am I going to shoot this demon? How many times am I going to shoot another demon? And you kind of play around with that.
Well, Doom actually kind of throws a wrench into that because you don't get anything with infinite ammo. Like in 2016, you got the plasma pistol that had unlimited shots. In Doom Eternal, the only weapons that you get are ones that require ammo. So if you run out of ammo in the middle of a fight and the only thing that you have left is heavy demons and you've just got the one or two gas and the chainsaw, you are literally boned. There is almost nothing you can do other than juke and throw grenades.
And speaking of the weapons and the ammo and all that, Doom at its core is still a shooter game. So what I'm wondering is, does the shooting feel good? Because like let's take
it feels good to shoot people.
One of the shooters I play, for example, Destiny 2, they nailed the gunplay in that. There are other aspects of the game that I might not like, but like shooting something in the head, for example, the head on the enemy will like fucking explode. It feels so good to shoot in that game. So what does the actual gunplay in Doom feel like?
Oh my gosh,
it is so good. It is the way that they did it was the more damage you deal to an enemy, especially the larger demons, you start hacking off flesh. Like bits of their arms start coming off. You can see bone and just everything. It's very visceral.
Oh, the visuals
get that
oh my god. So
yeah, it is a visceral experience of just you look like you're doing some damage.
It makes like, oh my goodness, it is so sexy. Like you like take the sexiest person you know. In this case, it's Camden, but like multiply them by 50. It's that sexy.
It is fun. It is interactive. It is satisfying to just start laying into something with like the minigun. And then at the end of it, it's finally dead. It just erupts, and all that's left is a spine and some leg.
By the end of this, I want you all to agree with Dallin. I'm the sexiest one in this room.
No, you're not.
Oh, it got really
It is definitely Leo.
Wait a second. You just said I was. Wait a second. You just said I was. You can't take back what you said.
I know.
That's the one that was cheated the profile picture.
I wasn't gonna say.
Hanamori. No. Everybody stay quiet. I'm allowed to change my profile picture as many times as I want, as long as it stays Hanamori. That is the rule.
But why'd you change it 5 times?
Sort of like how you're allowed
There's
to.
so many good pictures of Hanamoru.
Sort of like how you're allowed to change your Smash main as many times as you want, as long as you're as long as, you know, you're allowed to change your Smash main as many times as you want, as long as you're still bad at them.
Okay, the word. Ouch. Okay, the word Smash main is a little polarized for me now because I can kind of just play whoever I want because I'm better.
Smash main.
That's cap. That is so cap.
What are you talking? Okay, Dallin, I've sat next to you
right
every
podcast,
single day. Dude, I literally.
I can play whoever I want.
I'm not even capping right now. Me and Dallin have probably sat through about 5 character changes, and that's sheets. That's sheets of character changes, man. You've changed the same as me. Leo just plays Joker because Joker.
Okay, but I'm still focused on my character.
What is your character? I don't know even now.
The fourth thing on our agenda for today is how tilt and rage affects competitive games.
Alex, you stay out of this right now, okay?
Put it out there. Just say it.
Okay. Anyway, Camden, you're bad, and it's proven.
Wait a second. Who taught you Link first, though? Think about that.
I watched.
Remember that meeting at Leo's house where everybody told me my Link's movement was absolutely ridiculous, and then you were like, "Wow, that's really cool."
Let me pull up the text messages you sent me a couple days ago.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, wait a second.
Watch, he's about to go delete the chat. Watch.
Can I?
I would
right now.
never in my life delete a chat message. What are you talking
He
about?
literally just did it.
I don't even know what
Y'all
the hell
are
you're talking
ridiculous.
about.
This isn't even a visual podcast.
Let's just.
Well, looks like we're gonna see that.
Got it.
But you know what? I
All
think
right, so this was the match
point.
that me and Camden played, and I was playing Link, right? And Camden said, "Wow, Dallin, best movement I've seen from your Link."
Yeah, I did tell you.
I said, "Thank."
Yeah, no, that was good. That was dope. Okay, your Link movement was good. I was playing you with Link. That was good.
Therefore, I'm better than you.
I played Ness. Okay, I played Ness.
Speaking facts.
Okay.
Hey, Camden, what do you do with a soccer ball?
What?
What do you do with a soccer ball?
I swear to God, if you make this joke.
Kick him.
Oh my God, guys!
Oh God. Okay.
Okay.
Can we get back to talking about?
It was very funny when he made the joke. Okay, let's switch to the next topic because I feel like I'm being attacked. Yeah, you're good, Leo.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next, we're gonna talk about NieR's remake, which we didn't get to talk about last time.
Dude, it's like the whole reason I'm still in this podcast is to talk about NieR.
Wait a second.
Oh, come on. You knew it to be true. Nah. I'm playing. But
All right, let me preface this by just saying I have seen a lot of NieR gameplay. I know a lot about it, but I've never actually played it. It looks sort of like Bayonetta, so I mean, I'd probably enjoy it.
Dude, all right. So, I just started playing NieR Automata relatively recently, and actually last night I got through ending A. I was on call with Arlo and Marshall, and so I'm very excited for Replicant. It looks great, but what really makes me interested is not only are we getting Replicant's remake, which is an interesting choice because there were obviously 2 versions of NieR. There was NieR Gestalt and NieR Replicant, where either in Replicant you play as this little girl's brother, but in Gestalt you play as this little girl's father, which completely changes the contextualization for each game, despite not that much actually changing. But first they chose the brother route, which I think is what Yokotaro originally wanted.
They chose a brother route?
Yeah, so they chose.
Whoa!
Yeah, which is interesting because I think I saw on there's a YouTuber who did a whole summary of the Drakengard NieR franchise.
Yeah,
I know
and
who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot if it was her, if it was somebody else that said there's a lot more media on him. There's a whole book about him getting he sells himself into sex slavery for his sister at one point.
That's gonna be yikes for me.
Oh, dog, it's. That's not half of it. In Drakengard, you play as a pedophile and then slaughter a bunch of kids.
Ooh, yum, bro.
Welcome to NieR Drakengard, dude.
I think it's worth noting that NieR Gestalt is not a remake; it's an update. It's just it's a port. It's an updated port.
Okay, that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, well, actually, we don't really know what it is. It's They haven't said whether it's a remake. What was the other one? It's a re-something.
Armada?
Oh, fuck.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, you're good.
You ever here? No, anyway,
Yeah. My man's was
But,
coming outie.
yeah, but it's a fuck. Anyway, but yeah, a
I know
remake,
shock my mouth.
remake or remaster. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It just says it's version something.
Yeah.
And also it's still called NieR because NieR Gestalt was released at the same time as NieR Replicant. Like they were the same game besides the main character changing. Oh, this is the first time the West is getting Replicant.
Yeah, that's why it's
Oh, yeah.
a big deal, is because it's not a remake or a remaster. I think it's just a port of a game that we never got. And by port, I think it's getting all new English voicing because it never got it, because it was I think a Japan exclusive, or at least an Eastern exclusive.
It was, yeah. I think it was Japan exclusive. Though I don't know. I think it's gonna be more than like a straight port.
I know, yeah.
Because it never released on PC before, and it never released on Xbox, and it'd be kind of like the gameplay in NieR wasn't the best to my knowledge,
Yeah.
so it'd be kind of a shame if they just straight ported it. But that could just be me.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Can I make a gamer confession real quick here?
Make the
Be
game
my
a
guest, my
profession.
guy.
So I, of course, like, the first time I even heard about NieR was NieR Automata, because that one was fairly popular.
As with most
And until roughly 5 seconds ago, I wasn't even aware there were more games in the series.
Oh.
Well, NieR is a spin-off.
Let me educate. Long ago, in the time of the PlayStation 2, there was Drakengard, which was a very mediocre franchise, but some people were like, hey, that Yoko Taro guy, his writing's pretty edgy. We can make a cult classic out of this. And so then, in that game, Drakengard, there is a joke ending where some of the shit from Drakengard falls into modern-day Tokyo and just kind of dissipates. Yoko Taro said, haha, funny meme, but psych, it is an unironic ending, and let's make an entire new franchise called NieR based off of it. And we'll just have a bunch of books and manga fill in. And oh god.
It is such a good series.
I mean, I'll try it.
The hentai for it's really good too.
I'll have to play with you.
All right, no, this is what matters, right?
How many polygons were in 2B's ass again?
Oh, dude.
Enough.
Oh, my God. There were
Enough. There were enough. I've seen some.
Also bad futa as well.
I mean, I've seen some
boy.
I've seen some pretty good fan art, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, if you go on Steam, the community tab of NieR Automata is all people cosplaying as 2B, and
they are another level.
It
God,
is.
when did this podcast become just 7 horny dudes?
Are we renaming the podcast?
When was it?
Apparently.
Never
I think
It's
around
been that from the beginning.
I think the time it came, that was around the time you pressed start call the first episode.
Yeah.
Time I forced
Yeah,
you
you're
to
right.
talk about.
All right, I'm looking up Rule 34 right now.
Why would I
Please
do
don't.
on stream?
Podcast.
Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta share, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's necessary that you do this.
I hate you.
So when we apply for like jobs,
This
in the
is why
future, they're
this is
gonna
why
like pull up.
Pleasant-
Oh my goodness!
They're gonna be like, so what was this all about?
Hey, I don't know.
I'm
Rule
gonna be like,
34
look,
is,
man, look, man.
What is here?
I don't know nothing, bro.
It never happened. It never
Dallin-
happened.
Dallin-
It never happened.
Dallin is scarred beyond belief.
Oh, my eyes!
You haven't run in. All
Bad
right.
decision.
It can't
bad
be
decision.
worse. It can't be that bad. Like, I've seen some fucked up shit. Like,
Guys,
you just gotta get
can we
used to
stop
it. You
talking
gotta
about
know this
this?
is gonna happen.
Oh yeah, in the words of Leo, you just kind of get used to it, man. I've seen 3 dogs attached to each other at one point. That's
This
just
is-
normal.
this-
This is everyday.
This is
Look,
a.
man,
This
it's
is a.
not- What is that? Arlo, what was the one that I was texting you about at like 1 a.m.?
What?
It's not that. Oh, you don't know what's it called? Is it fucking?
Why are we still on this topic?
Yeah, can we
actually?
I
can we
don't
talk about
know,
video games,
but-
please?
This is Dallin's fault. Okay. I have more things to talk about NieR though, because not only are we getting a remake, we're getting 2 mobile games from Yoko Taro. Like, a NieR mobile game, and then Sinnoh Alice. I think that's how that's pronounced. Which, I mean, knowing Yoko Taro, these are going to be crazy. And like, as a mobile game, like, Nani the fuck?
Yeah, I thought that
I
thought that was a really interesting announcement. But like they take their stuff different. Like there is a difference in how like Eastern culture displays its media.
I
Than
have no words. I'm
like a
scarred.
different like understanding of like how like stories should be told and how worlds should be built, because like even things like television shows always have these tie-in novels and all of this stuff, and it's all important, whereas like you don't get that as much with like Western releases.
Yeah, I feel.
And I personally wish we adopted that more often. Like I definitely think there are a lot of like Western made games that would have great shows, or and stuff like that. So I did think it was really interesting though that they're making 2 mobile games and not an official NieR sequel, because like Automata was one of the most like popular games of its release year. I mean, and big enough to get a PC port and I think an Xbox port now too.
I don't know if it ever got to Xbox.
I
don't think so either.
If it hasn't, it comes out this year.
I'll look into it, but I don't
That's definitely
remember
true.
seeing that. But they honestly, it should get an Xbox port. It deserves an Xbox port. But I
Definitely.
remember back when I
Yeah, it's
first got into
available on
Final
Xbox
Fantasy.
One.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just.
It's the
I'm just
Become
picking
as
it up.
Gods edition.
Oh.
Wait, no, wait, that's NieR Automata, isn't it?
Yeah.
Automata, yeah.
Yeah,
NieR
Automata.
Automata.
Wait,
But I do know
did
they've
I say it
announced-
wrong?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I might be saying it wrong.
Excruciatingly.
I
You know what?
mispronounced it for a while until Arlo basically said, "Hey, mispronounce it wrong one more time and you lose your kneecaps."
I mean,
I've never walked the same again.
He's correct. I did indeed threaten his kneecaps.
True story. Anyway, but when I was getting into Final Fantasy 15, I saw a lot of complaints that the game was very like fragmented, where like not the entire story was in the game. I think there's a certain opposition in Western culture, like selling a product in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
That you then sell those bits and pieces in multiple pieces. So while I certainly agree, like I guess we're all Persona fans, I love the fact that there's like multiple different Persona games in the same franchise that all take different gameplay styles, and there's the anime and there's all that. But there is, I think, a certain extent where you don't release a complete product and you try to fill in the gaps with supplementary material that still costs the consumer money.
I mean,
Like I should be able to.
And I think that comes out of a
well,
like a mentality of like spending the least amount of money for the most, whereas I think a lot of other cultures it's about the art, and people are willing to pay for the art. And I mean, I'm in the same boat. I would rather because like I liked Final Fantasy 15, but I also really liked the supplementary material, and I liked that there's more to it than just the product, than the one product. And I like that we understand that world. I mean, and it's not like it's never been done, in Western culture without it being, popular. I mean, Tolkien released the Silmarillion to help flesh out The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So it's not like it's not been done. And I think I think there are definitely a lot of situations where I think that's useful, especially for 100-hour, RPGs or even longer games, or games with as complex stories as NieR Automata has what, like 5 main endings, and
Yeah,
26
I can't
total
imagine.
endings. And
No, I mean I agree with you on like personally I agree. I really enjoy supplementary material. I really want to see if I can find like Western or at least English translation material for like a lot of the NieR Drakengard novels and whatnot. But at the same time, as a fan of Final Fantasy 15, I do kind of understand like the Final Fantasy 15 movie. I'm like, that does take place in the middle of FF15. It's a major plot point, and it's definitely glossed over in game. So I'm like, as long as it's like used properly, I guess, then it's fine. But I do understand it can be misused, and that I understand some of the Western opposition to it, if that makes sense.
okay. I have like 2 big counterpoints to what a lot of people are saying. The first one was the idea that Western audiences prefer to just pay for a complete product as opposed to paying side things for the art. So there's this thing I'm not sure if you've heard of called microtransactions. Pretty small.
People hate story-based microtransactions.
Oh no, they hate it, but they still are willing to buy it. A lot of people go online, whine and complain, but they'll still end up forking the money over.
This is true, but like think about. I think what we were all thinking about was satisfaction of the people in the West.
That's fair enough. That's fair.
Which microtransactions suck. Don't get me wrong. And I even me saying this now, I would fork over $100 for a Persona 4 remake or a remaster. Sorry, but like
$400 you don't have.
That's completely true.
But the backlash over Persona 5 Royals DLC in Australia, it costs like $100 or something. I don't know. I saw that somewhere.
Jeez.
But there's a lot of expensive DLC. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Leo.
No. It's good. Wait, what?
Yeah, I was talking. It's fine.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, and then the other thing, which is that like not a lot of big companies do that in the West. That is true, and I will agree with you on that for the most part. But I can think of one huge exception, which is Riot Games' League of Legends. They're doing an animated series. I know they have some books. They have comics.
Yeah,
they have other pieces of lore, and I think that's great. But I was just saying that's one big exception to
to be fair, they do also a lot of free supplementary lore as well. You don't have to buy almost any of their comics. They give them to you free on their website.
Oh, I wasn't.
I
wasn't saying it was like purchased. I was just saying like it is a company that has been doing that to some.
True.
Yeah.
And same with like Overwatch. Overwatch is a whole bunch. All of its plot and story is outside and external material, but the West definitely does it. Yeah, but like the West does it. Like I'm gonna use Overwatch because I play Overwatch. I know Overwatch more than I know League.
Yeah, I play Overwatch. Go for it.
Yeah, but all of its material is relatively short. There are like 5 to 10 minute like YouTube videos that are of fantastic quality.
Oh,
but
can we get an Overwatch movie?
Oh, absolutely! Like, and honestly, they're my favorite, almost my favorite part of Overwatch, and I'm very excited for all the story material they're actually going to put in the game.
Oh, absolutely!
But like the Western stuff, I don't think it's to the same caliber as like releasing a major portion of your story in books and mediums. Like NieR, to really get the connection between NieR RepliCant and Gestalt to NieR Automata, you need to read up on it in books and in supplemental material.
Yeah. But
you have to kind of get into the story.
The only other exception I can think of to that is the Destiny universe, but I think that might just be because it's a big open world RPG, and they do a lot of their storytelling through lore, which you can find either in books and in like cards. There's like almost everything in that game has a backstory that you can find if you look hard enough.
Yeah,
but I think again that might just be because it's like a World of Warcraft style big RPG MMO thing.
Yeah,
I feel.
Okay. You guys mind moving to the next topic?
Sure. Yeah, that works.
Okay. So our next topic, which me and Pleasant are very we're both very into, is Smash commentary and like how much effect it has on like making, I want to say just like Smash, like watching Smash interesting. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Marshall? Anyway. So I remember like to bring up kind of the like start of the story. Me and Pleasant both watched down. We're both really big fans of Conley, or I think that's how you say his name. Coney. I totally said that right. Wow.
Good job. Really good job, dude.
No, he's so good. But
one of you is clearly a bigger fan than the other.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
He is correct. I'm not even like I'm not a huge commentary fan. Even I knew his name.
Wow. Okay, I said Conley because it sounded correct. Okay. Anyway, say it for me, Pleasant. Coney. Okay, Coney.
Tony 2020.
Tony 2020. Him and Hazmat did a set. I really enjoyed the set between Dark Wizzy and Meister during their Squad Strike tournament in at Glitch 8.
Yeah.
And it makes watching Smash so much interesting, or so much more interesting, in my opinion, because like those dudes are hilarious, and like it makes you want to commentate too, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And also, I like. Sorry, give me just a second.
No,
I'll
you're good.
talk about this. Another thing that I like about him is that, about Coney in particular, is he's not like, even though he is quite a popular like
Smash commentator, he's not like, he doesn't think like there's anything he's too good to commentate. Essentially, like he'll do like small games as well as big ones.
Yeah.
And I just think that it makes him come across as just a real stand-up guy.
His DMs are open, by the way.
And I think one of the reasons why it's so important is that like fighting games, or just, I mean, not even just like fighting games, any type of sport necessitates commentary, because there's a lot of small but important things that you might miss. And I think providing a kind of an insight into what's going on is really good for viewers. Like, I mean, I play Smash relatively competitively, but like the stuff that they talk about, the stuff that they recognize about these players and play styles and characters, I think is so important to get people to recognize how much skill goes into like fighting games. But it's also like, it's in a way like every Smash commentator is a color commentator, and I think that goes in, so like it provides so much to the scene because it makes it entertaining. Because like I'll sit there and watch Meister and Leo play because I love the game and I want to see play at that level. But when you have someone like Coney or EE or Hazmat or Hungrybox or Alpharad, like any of those commentators talking about it in a way that's personal to the players because they know the players, or just call outs. I mean, even like jumping from ledge, the tournament winner, like recognizing patterns and making jokes. It makes it more than just watching two dudes play.
And I mean, like, that's the big thing about it, right? You can watch a game or two of Smash Bros, and that's just watching a game. But you put a commentator on it, and then it's an esports.
I mean, that's the whole like basis of not just esports, but sports itself. You have to have that balance between what the competitors like and what makes them feel good, but also it has to be entertaining. If people aren't going to watch your esport, the esport will fail. Why Melee succeeded all this time is because it's intense to watch. You know, there's like all the fast movements, all the people playing, and there's so much, I don't want to say drama, but there's just stuff around Melee. That's what keeps people invested beyond just the game itself. I mean, that's what kind of I think commentators bring to the table, is they bring a sort of form of entertainment, and they help, like, let's say me, I don't really know all the competitive Smash stuff. I mean, I know to a certain extent, but commentators will kind of help you understand what's going on, when really, if you watch a match of, I'm going to say Melee because I think Melee is probably the most hardest barrier to entry. If you just watch a match of Melee without any sort of prior knowledge, you're not going to know what's going on. A commentator will help you start like throwing out terms and start kind of explaining what's going on in the match to keep people invested and entertained.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge to me, is just the main thing. Honestly, in my opinion, the main thing commentators do is allow people who don't play the game to still watch it and be entertained, because they have someone who they can relate to. Because although they can't really relate to the people on stage, because those people are insane, but they can relate to the commentator.
Do you mind if I add a little analogy or try to attempt one?
Yeah,
Go for it.
I think watching Smash Brothers, like competitive Smash Brothers, the kind of like the meat is like the two players going against each other, and you know who they are. Like you know who MK Leo is. You know who, like if you're following Smash, you know who MK Leo is. You know who Hungrybox is. You know who like Mango is. All those people. But like, Tweak, having like, seasoning the meat is like having commentary, because like you see these the chemistry between the two players. Like what can I give an example for? I want to say Dark Wizzy. Dark Wizzy is a big example for me, just because like his character is just like really like interesting, and like the way he approaches other pro players. Him versus MK Leo was huge, because you had this like this upcoming player, and then you had, oh my god, my throat. You had this upcoming player, and then you had the best player in the world going against each other. But you had the two commentators, which I believe it was D1. I want to say it was D1 and EE, or Kentaro. I can't remember who it was. Like watching their match and then having like Kentaro and D1 like flip out was huge to me. And like it makes things interesting. You're not just watching a match where they're just hitting each other over and over again.
Yeah, and I think on a more technical level, like especially with Ultimate, is that the cast of characters is huge. And I mean a lot of those characters get tournament play. So if you're not someone who knows the game super well, it's important to have a commentator who's knowledgeable on all of the characters and how they interact. Because like a Mario versus like Zero Suit Samus match is going to be different than a Mario versus Joker match. And understanding, like having someone who understands those different levels of like how characters approach one another, I think is really important. But also like knowing, like having knowledge of what all of the moves do is really important. But presenting that in a way that's not, this F tilt is +2 on
space.
shield and comes out 3 frames. That's not the stuff that's important. It's the understand like calling out combo trees and calling out how people are going to interact. I think that's like a really key element of good commentary.
It also helps people. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll be fast on this one. Okay. It also helps, like personally for me, I watch matches to get a better understanding of the characters I play. And having commentators be like, oh, I also play this character, so I am going to add my input and I know what I'm talking about. It's really interesting because you learn something new, because you learn something about approach options. You learn why people did a certain thing. I mean, commentators will be like, he walked forward and shielded because he knew that he had a read or something. It helps players, especially new players too, who are just like, I want to watch a game. I want to get a feeling for this game. They look at it and they're like, oh, this makes sense. I know why I should approach this way when I'm playing this character.
I feel yeah. I was gonna say, on top of what Pleasant was saying, on top of all, I don't know what we've all said, they also have to do it on the cuff, because you don't really, or off the cuff, I guess is the term, because you don't really know what's gonna happen in a match until the match happens. So they have to have all that knowledge and be able to pull it out completely unprepared and completely extremely impressive.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and I think it takes a certain quality of knowledge to make those call outs. And when you're doing it for, there's 50 players on the PGR and there's 76 characters in the roster, and at least 20, 25 characters get regular tournament play. So having to know all of those matchups to a certain degree, I don't think, Coney knows every single matchup in a way that he's going to be able to call it out perfectly every time. But just having that well of knowledge to pull from of both players and characters, I think is it's so valuable, and it's an incredibly underrated talent as a commentator.
Oh yeah, it's definitely an important aspect as well. You have to know what you're talking about to commentate.
Absolutely.
Who just fell?
It was me. Sorry.
Damn it!
Get off
Did you break
roof.
anything?
Damn it, Pleasant.
No, good.
He only broke his dignity. It's okay.
Did he have
What
one
little
left?
he had remaining.
Do you have any?
No, none left. Anyways.
All right.
Oh wow.
Are we done with Smash commentary? Anybody have anything else to add?
I think I'm good on my end.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of spoke my mind on it. I just think it just had a huge impact on me in general.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the main reason I sit there and probably watch over 3 hours of Smash every single day. So please do not take my words and move them in any way.
Nice. So next thing on the list is how tilt and rage affects competitive games, and in set
Poorly.
It drives me to work harder.
That is a big fat lie. We all know that.
So
so bad.
It made me break my first set of Joy-Cons. Okay, I'm sorry.
I have also said enjoy guns and they started drifting.
God.
Tilt. Here's the
Damn it.
thing I feel about Tilt and Rage. If it's a solo game like Smash, for example, you can get tilted. I think personally it's going to have a negative effect on your gameplay, but you can do it if you want. But if you're playing Overwatch and you start to get tilted, that's going to affect everybody else around you too.
I will say, I was talking with a buddy of mine. I kind of disagree with the factor that people say. I heard one guy in tournament with me. He was talking to me. He's like, I play much better when I'm mad. And I'm like, personally to me, you can't really play better off of your mental state, because, think about this. If you're mad, you're usually going to do better, worse options. You're going to run in. You're going to overcommit. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. I played with a guy. I'm not going to say his name. I played with a guy recently, and he was sick. And I was like, I should not be winning against this guy, right? and like I was getting tilted because like I was feeling delay, but like then again he was like extremely mad because like again he was sick. And it just like it makes you play worse. You overcommit. You do things that you're not supposed to do. Like and you tell yourself like, oh, I'm such a better player than this, but like it's ruining your mental state during the game because you're not focusing.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And not only does it ruin your mental state, a lot of the time it can ruin like your teammates if you're playing a team game. Because if you get tilted, a lot of the time you're not going to blame yourself for your tilt. You're just going to want to lash out at anybody near you in anger. So maybe you blame one of your teammates and then they get tilted, and then all of a sudden your entire team is arguing and nobody can focus on doing anything.
Yeah, and I think a majority of tilt is completely misguided, and it's I can't tell you how many times like in bracket, but in casual play, it's that whole like I'm losing so the game must not be working mentality. And I think when people get angry at video games and then place the blame on the game versus themselves, they don't improve. They're just blaming the game. And even if something in the game doesn't work how you want it to, the game's the game. Like you have to, it's not like you can go, well, there are people who can do it, but it's not like you're going to go into the code and change the game so that it works for you. People complain, and like Smash about like the buffer system and
the buffer system is still trash. It will never change my mind on.
It's not. No, rage. It's not great, and like I definitely see the problem in it, but it's the game, and so you either need to stop playing the game because you don't like how the mechanic works, or you need to learn how to play around the mechanic that you don't like. Those are kind of your two options, unless you're going to start playing a mod. But you're never going to play a mod in a bracket.
Haha, Project M, my guy.
Project M has its own problems. It's great. I like Project M, but it has its own balancing issues and its own problems. Even Project Plus, which was designed to fix some of the balancing issues of the last patch of Project M, has its own balancing issues. And I don't think you're ever going to get away from that. But instead of blaming the game for the balancing issues or the mechanics that you don't like, learn how to play the game better. And I don't mean to sound like high and mighty about that.
Get good.
I'm not great. Yeah, I know, get good, but to a certain extent you do have to, and not in the way of like just punish yourself until you're better. Like take some time to understand what you're doing and what the game is thinking you're doing, or what it expects to be doing.
I'm lagging.
Yeah, that sort of like lag is one of those things that you can't really fix because it's so variable. But I just mean like if you don't like the buffer system, learn to play around the buffer system. If you don't like how a character's forward tilt, works, either don't play that character or learn how to use the forward tilt as it's currently designed. And like patches and stuff change that, but don't play a character expecting a patch. And I think that goes for anything outside of Smash too. Like I have friends who play like competitive Pokemon, and they're always talking about like the changes they wish would be made. And I do get that mentality, but it's like it's not going to happen, in Pokemon they don't patch the game, so it's not going to happen for a while until the next game. So you either have to learn how to play inside of this game or move on to the stop playing until the next game. But getting mad at the game and then putting that on other players, I think it's just incredibly misguided.
And if you want to talk about a way that I find that like almost 100% of the time works to at least reduce getting tilted, it sounds like just common sense, but you'd be surprised. Eat fucking food. Like it's so much easier to get tilted if you're hungry. Like legitimately, it is so much easier for you to get tilted if you're like super hungry or tired.
And another cliche about that is also like just the going in with a positive attitude. It sounds like, yeah, no shit, but like if you go into a game thinking, oh, this is gonna go poorly, or like you get in your own head about like a matchup in Smash, that can really start to mess up your own gameplay because you're in your head, and so you're gonna have a bad time going in. And so if you just kind of have an open mind about whatever you're going into, it tends to be a whole lot easier, and you don't get as tilted as quickly.
Yeah, what I try to do when I go into a match, because I will say I don't think any of you have seen it, but I get really really tilted and mad, and it clouds my judgment really, really bad. So like when I play awful, like I know I can do better. I know what I'm doing wrong, but I don't act on it.
Yeah,
so like when I do
That's
something
the
wrong,
only times I've ever beaten you with Little Mac.
yeah, that is true. That is true. I don't know. It was like I get this feeling of like I know I can do better. I know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm not acting on it. So what I do when I go into a match and because I play competitive Smash, I go into a match and I instantly I go to the person, I think they're a nice person, and I talk to them as they're my best friend. That's what I do. And if they beat me, that kind of happens. Unless they play Luigi, then you're actually a piece of shit. But I'm actually joking.
What about Wii Fit?
Okay,
Only assholes play Luigi.
We do not talk about Wii Fit and how much that character makes me so mad. Why does she exist?
Let's talk about her.
I mean,
why is deep breathing a thing?
she just wants to get a good stretch. What's wrong, bro?
Yeah, man, come on.
Yeah,
A
deep
lot.
stretch while you're in the dark pits of hell.
And I mean, another good way to avoid tilt is if you feel yourself getting tilted. Again, it's probably pretty cliche, but just get up, go do something else for 5-10 minutes, come back, and you will instantly notice that you're playing better.
Yeah, do some
Get
mindfulness
up,
exercises.
get out there.
And the best thing is that you don't dwell on it, because if you dwell on it, it messes with your head so badly. I'll be honest, I really evaluated or thought about I think I talked to a buddy of mine, Chase or Metro or whatever. I talked to him about it, and I was like, I'm really thinking about quitting Smash because I was doing bad, and I was like, dude, I'm just doing ass. This game isn't for me. And I took a minute and I reevaluated, and I was like, all that shit I said was bullshit. I'm just mad because I was losing and I wasn't improving. I even threatened I was going to go to Rivals, which I plan to go to Rivals when it comes out to Switch. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
Hey! You can play multiple games at once, Mike.
Hey, that's true, but
Quite literally, if you have the right controller.
that is true.
Oh, God.
Well, again, once Rivals comes out, I'll be playing that game a lot more. But
And so,
I don't know, it's
Yeah, I mean, he'll be
Alright.
playing the game a lot more and still lose to me.
We might want to talk about that.
what do
next
you?
week,
Whoa! Yeah, we'll talk about it
The
next week.
Rivals definitive, because there's actually a decent amount of stuff we can talk about in that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be leading that
I
conversation.
mean, oh, what do you mean, bro?
Dude,
I mean,
what?
They're giving away all their DLC for free, which is nice.
I already
The
have all the
infamous
DLC.
skins.
I don't.
I don't have the skins, but I don't give a shit about
Well,
the
no,
skins.
no. You get the skins if you have the characters, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah, you get
Yeah,
special
so
skins.
that's all. Okay, well, yeah, I have everything then already. I'm not gonna buy it. I already bought it.
So you don't you won't have to rebuy a 30. They're giving definitive away to everyone who owns the game for free. So you won't have to buy another $30 game.
I know. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Well,
so-
what happens to the Switch people then? Do we get infamous skins or
You
not?
get nothing. Play on PC like a real gamer, coward.
What?
Yeah, I think that's how that's gonna work. Is that we don't get or if they find a way to link your PC account to your Switch account. But I highly doubt we're getting infamous skills.
Oh, I did buy all the DLC on my Xbox Zone. That was the biggest waste of money.
Yeah, didn't they
I got no stages. I got Claren and I got Rano's.
You don't-
Rano's
What?
stage.
You don't play either of them.
Exactly, but I bought them already. I play Sylvanos and I play.
You play
what's his name?
you play Forsburn, a base
play
roster
Forsburn.
character anyway.
I play Forsburn and Sylvanos,
Okay.
who covers. Besides the point, I still got cheated. I want my money.
I said, hey, let's talk about this next week, or we can just talk about this now. That works.
Yeah,
All right.
I apologize for derailing the conversation.
I want to talk about something that y'all brought up because this is a conversation I've had a lot with both competitive and casual players. I don't get character hate. Mainly because I don't think especially in Ultimate, I don't think there's a single character who's truly broken. There are
I think it's
dumb
not
things
really
about a lot of characters, but it's I can't tell you how many times in bracket I have been told how stupid my character is, and I play a character who's roundly considered one of the worst in the cast.
Really? I play Little Mac.
I mean,
Dude,
I
I
play
went up to it-
Plant, who's generally considered bottom 10, and I've been told on multiple occasions in bracket that I play a busted character.
What? Okay. Have you ever had somebody so I walked up to this guy. I tried to become friends with him because I was I was interested in him. I walk up to him. He's like, yo, who do you play? I say, I main Ness, Hero, and Byleth. And he looks at me and he says, you're going to be the most hated guy here. And I knew it already. Everybody hates my characters. Like literally, I literally pulled out here on bracket and I was like immediately shit on. But like, yeah, I don't understand about Plant because like I don't really get character hate. I understand character annoyance. Like some characters are just annoying. Like I guess name off the top of my head, Game & Watch up air, Nest nair, Palutena nair. Like those moves are annoying, but a character isn't broken. Anyway, to what you said.
But like the thing that like irritates me is people act like these are things that you cannot play around, and I think that's
100%.
I mean, that's your fault. Like if you get hit by 40 Game & Watch up Bs in a game, that's your fault. You're not playing the game right. Don't blame the character, and especially don't go and hate on the person who plays the character. Meister was talking about it today, how much hate he gets for playing Game & Watch,
which I think is complete bullshit because he's played the character since Smash 4, and not.
Yeah, and I mean, if I can just play the devil's advocate a little bit here, I'm not condoning character hate, and I'm definitely not condoning hating people for playing a certain character. But I think a lot of people unfairly hate characters just because they are counters to the characters that they like to play, and so in order to beat them, they have to play a character that they don't really like playing. So I think that might factor into it.
I will say, as a mental note for me, since I main Ness, I have had trouble dealing with swords, if that makes any sense, and it's really, really frustrating, which is why I have to pick up so many characters, and I have to experiment. It's really, really hard, like, as a person who plays a good character that struggles against disjoints, but I don't really, like, yell. It's different if you're like, oh, man, I struggle in this matchup, let me work on it, but it's a completely different matter if you're like, oh, I hate this person solely because they play Schultz.
I'm not condoning that.
Yeah,
I absolutely think that.
But when Meister, like, if you've met Meister in real life, and I haven't myself, but I just know, like, just the way he is around people, and just in general from what I've seen, it's all from a closed door. But he's such a nice guy, and the fact that he's getting so much hate for playing a character that honestly is, I don't want to say mediocre, but Game & Watch is not, like, threatening on the tier list whatsoever.
Game & Watch is top 20. I probably wouldn't put him in top 10, though.
No way. This character, like, again, I would... Like, I don't understand why. I get Game & Watch is annoying, but there are so many things that Game & Watch lacks that I don't understand what players are freaking out about. Like, yes, he has an annoying up air. Up B out of shield is ridiculous. But the thing is, there are ways to play around that. You see Leo beat him. You see other people beat him.
It's really simple. If he starts shielding, don't walk towards him.
No, or just empty hop in front of his shield and then grab. But the thing is this. Like, people are freaking out during tournament. I get it. But you say things when you're mad, or you say things about people. Like, Meister's just only one of the examples. Leia went through it for a while too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. You shouldn't base somebody off of their character.
And actually, like, that reminds me, I pick Joker a lot in tournament, right? I'm a Joker main. So whenever I would pull out my Joker in tournament, it's a little less now, but it still sometimes happens. People would always look at me and just go, oh, you're like I hate using this term, but you're a tier whore. You're just playing Joker because he's good. And I'm like, I should be able to play this character that comes from my favorite video game without people telling me, oh, get out of here.
Well, I think also, and to play other devil's advocate, I think like some of that stuff is inside jokes. Like, I know like the hose mad thing kind of got annoying real quick.
God, I love spamming like, hose mad.
I mean, if you get told if it's something like hose mad, okay, yeah, that's clearly a joke. But if you're just like straight up calling somebody a tier whore for playing a character, I don't think that's a joke.
Well, I think
it happens.
It's contextual.
Like, I mean, like if I'm playing a match against Camden and Camden plays Joker, I'm like, haha, you fucking tier whore or something.
Among friends, of course, it's different. But if it's someone random in tournament that you don't know,
I mean, I don't know. Even still,
nobody can say that about my main.
I don't know. I think there's a certain amount of like inside joke within the Smash community that like Joker's a tier whore. Like it depends on how they say it to you. Because like if someone goes up to you and is like actually vindictive and like actually you tier whore. Like okay, that's different from like tier whore. Like there's a difference between the two. Also, I think if we're talking specifically about the Smash community, not like overall. Character hate, because like if we're talking overall character hate, you cannot convince me that Clash from Rainbow Six Siege is a good character. But if we're talking just about we're talking just about the Smash community, I think this kind of goes down to a bigger issue in the Smash community. The Smash community, at least right now, is kind of toxic. Like overall,
kind of is the most like that's the understatement of the century.
Yeah, it's we have some problems within this community, bigger than just
Okay,
characters.
but at least it's not melee.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
At least a
It
majority of
could
all
be
players
melee.
shower.
And here's my thing also. Bringing up Hungry Box, though.
Oh,
Sorry,
I
I didn't
wasn't,
mean to cut
I
you
wasn't even, I wasn't even talking about H-Box. I was
No,
just
no, I know. I'm just saying, like,
General.
they still
And
put
wobbly.
Puff, where Puff is like mediocre, and then ice climbers can go fuck themselves. Let me be real with you. Yeah. Whatever.
Guy, come on. What?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like biased, but fuck ice climbers and fuck.
Oh, my skill, dude. I'm just gonna press the A button.
It's crazy, dude.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like, look at this. This is all kind of like we talked about how bad it is to character hate. Now we're shitting on ice climbers.
Well,
Like,
okay, but
we gotta kind of.
Listen. We can't shit on them now though. 'Cause
It's
they can't
okay
wobble
when
anymore.
we do
They
it.
can't hurt us. They can't
no.
hurt us anymore.
I don't know,
I think
man.
Ice Climbers in Smash Ultimate completely fine, but if it's a character like Smash, if it's like someone in Melee where like literally like 99% of the entire Smash community is like this is bullshit, then I think it's okay to not like it.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
if you
sure.
have to have rule sets changed around your character, that's a little bit different. That is a broken mechanic, like something that's truly broken. And I think to a certain extent that is fair. But like you can't make moral judgments on people based off of the character that they play in a video game.
This
100%
yes,
agree.
I agree
with
completely.
that.
Challenge
I
accepted.
think that's different than disliking a character. Because like there's like characters in Ultimate that I genuinely don't like. I don't like Byleth. Granted, I think there's a difference between hating the people who play those characters, but I don't like Byleth as a character. I think she was a waste of potential. I think her moveset was really bad.
I am with you. I am so with you on that. And I again, as a Byleth main, I sadly look at Byleth and I know that there's so much lacking because it is so. But the thing is this: Byleth was awesome. I'm really glad that she's in the game. But I think as a competitive player, it's so hard to do well with this character. I think.
Well,
Yeah,
sure, but
Can I get a Aaron Thor?
oh, what?
Byleth side B?
It's Aaron Barr. Aaron Barr.
Is that not what I... Listen, alright, it's all the same to me. I've never played a Fire Emblem game. I don't play on
Fantasy language.
The stick, that one, the one that's the stick.
Yeah,
The
but
giant
if I
stick.
could kind of finish my point, I think there's a difference between like hating a character and then hating the character so much that you hate the people who play that character. Because disliking a character for their gameplay style, I think, is decently fine and to a certain extent natural. You're gonna not like play styles. That's perfectly normal. People aren't gonna like every play style because that people just don't like every play style.
Yeah, but I think
100%.
Meister said it pretty well in a tweet today. Is that at the end of the day, you can't fault someone for winning the game, because if it's in the game and it's not a broken mechanic like wobbling, you can't blame them for using it. Like, yeah, it sucks when you get hit by.
You're telling me it's like comparing this to this. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's comparing this to this, right? Two players are going to have a win button. They instantly win the game if they press it. You're telling me that with all the other buttons you have, you're not going to press that win button? Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you as a similar player, you were both playing the same character probably. You're going to go up and you're not going to press that win button if the person's going to do it? Like, it's just whack. It's not a good mentality.
All right, yeah, and I actually would like to. I think Pleasant hit it like dead on. You can dislike a character for their playstyle, but under literally zero circumstances does that allow you to dislike the person playing.
Oh, I
100%.
completely agree with that. That's what I 100%.
Yeah.
If someone plays with a playstyle you don't like, you have no permission to hate them.
Like I got Luigi 0 to death 3 times in a bracket, like
Me
in
too.
a row, and like in bracket. Like, that sucks. Like, I hate it. It made me feel bad as a player, but I would never like be like, oh, you suck because you worked on this 0 to death combo for hours to figure it out and play it. And like Camden has PK Fire chained me before, and like, yeah, it sucks. It's annoying. But I still think Camden's a good player.
No, just leave it there. Just leave it there.
Yeah, end of podcast.
No.
It sucks. It's
I
annoying.
thought we said we were allowed to like hate broken mechanics.
but that's but if I get hit by 6 PK fires in a row, that's my fault. That was bad DI, and I let myself get red.
Yeah, he
that's
was
my
joking.
fault.
Here's my thing against that same Luigi main. What I did instead of complaining about it, I guess, and the same thing mentality that you had, Pleasant, was I went and studied his gameplay.
Yeah.
What I did is so I could beat him. I now continued taking notes, studying his gameplay. Also, same thing with the Shulk. I've lost to a Shulk continuously, and instead of complaining and telling him that his character is broken, I will go and study on the character because that's what I do as a player. Because that's if you have enough passion for the game, you won't complain. You'll sit and take it. You'll shake the guy's hand at the very end of the day, and you'll be like, "Okay, I'll take my loss and I'll look more."
All right. I think we've made our point. We've been talking about this for a while, and it wasn't.
Yeah, we kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless I want to be an asshole and be like, how do you decide what's broken?
Oh my god.
But I think that's an argument for another day.
Another day.
Another
perhaps.
day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Well, I think that brings
Alrighty.
us to the end of the show today.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Yeah, I think
Thank you for joining.
Subscribe.
Let's go down the
Appreciate
line and let everyone know where they can find you online. Let's start with Radaman. Where can people find you online?
All right. So I think everything's still going to be linked below like last time. But basically, if it says Radaman2 on it, it's probably me. So Instagram is @theTrueRadaman2, and then Twitter, Twitch. I think that's really the only two I use. Those are all just Radaman2 spelled the same way with the word instead of the number. Yeah.
Dallin, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Igor SSBU, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which will just be Dallin. And yeah.
Librarian, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at Our Lord and Savior. And that's about.
Leo, where can people find you?
That's all.
I don't really have much social media, but I do have a YouTube channel I occasionally post some clips to. It's Elevated Midday.
Awesome. Marshall, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at EdgyBurb, Twitter, EdgyBurb, Twitch, Edgy_Burb, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, you can find me, Pleasant, at Pleasant_Kaleb on Instagram, Pleasant Kaleb on Twitter. You can find my Let's Play channel on YouTube at The Upgamers. And you can find me on this podcast hopefully every week. Zero, where can everyone find you?
Is it me
By
now?
the way, you're fired.
God damn.
Yeah, you're fired, buddy. Good job. Day 2. So you can find me at Zura SSBU on Twitch. What else? God. I'm gonna plug my stepbrother's YouTube channel in here. It's gonna be Shatter YouTube. Yes, that is it. I think that's it. Zura SSBU. If you want to follow, I guess friend me on Discord. Hold on, let me check the. It is Zura SS or 8136. Cool.
Okay.
Very epic. Very cool.
And obviously, you can find us on this whole podcast on the YouTube channel. Hopefully next week it's going to start being live, and we're going to shoot for probably around 8 p.m. on Sundays. So keep an eye out for that.
Also, hopefully, at least I would like to do a Persona 3 Fez live stream with everybody in here, or at least whoever wants to join from in here. So, stay tuned for that if that gets.
Does YouTube have like a what do you call it? I don't want to say comment section, but that sounded so stupid. Oh my god.
They have a live chat.
Yeah. Okay, so like we can update people in the community.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's live.
Cool.
Well, awesome. If you like the podcast, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share it around the internet.
With your friends.
Make sure anyone who likes
Use code
the things that
Ninja in the Epic Shop.
Please, we're desperate. Please,
Right.
please, we're desperate. Please.
Creator code Chungus.
we're just
Give
a
me all
bunch
your-
of internet funny men trying to be funny
Funny man
online.
stuff.
Yep.
All right,
But
cool.
yeah.
All right.
Now
Everyone,
that we're men.
say goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace out.
Bye.
Hello.
Bye-bye. Love you guys.